they'll come out and do this or that or something. Siskel and Ebert.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here.
Let's talk about the Oscars. First of all, have you seen King Ralph?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
No.
Okay, so you all haven't done that one yet.
Neither has Goodman.
Yeah, he's just, I'm surprised he didn't go to dailies and stuff. Some actors don't like to.
Sometimes the directors don't let you, too. It sounded like Little Richard had seen it, though, or was certainly ready to give his review anyway.
Who do you think got overlooked?
Robin Williams, definitely, for Awakenings. And here's a man who started out as a comedian who has been criticized over and over in his dramatic performances for allowing the stand-up shtick to kind of get in the way. And in Awakenings, I thought he was so self-contained, so centered, such a good, strong performance. And there's no better actor than Robert De Niro, but I thought that in this movie, Williams deserved the nomination more than De Niro. But every time the Academy takes an actor who does something like mental illness or lots of makeup or 100 years older than his real age or plays another sex or something, and they confuse that with acting. And I think what Robin did in that picture was really a lot harder than what De Niro did.
I disagree, naturally. I thought he was a little mannered, and I thought that I could see him acting. I felt that maybe that's what the Academy felt as well, and that's why he was nominated. One that surprised me was Shirley MacLaine not getting nominated in supporting actress for Postcards from the Edge. Yeah. I thought that she was as key. We've seen a lot of mothers on the screen, and this one was startling, and I thought that she was not a cartoon figure, and I thought she should have been nominated. I was very surprised that she wasn't.
Meryl was nominated and it's been 7 times for Best Actress.
I think this might even be 8. I'm not sure, or even 9. I'm not sure. I was amazed that Glenn Close didn't get nominated, since she always gets nominated whenever Meryl Streep does.
I'm a big Glenn Close fan. What did you think about? Should she have been nominated?
I expected that she might have gotten a nomination for The Mother in Hamlet, and she didn't. Hamlet kind of got overlooked. But there were some other pairs that didn't get both nominated. For example, Joan Woodward was nominated for playing Mrs. Bridge, and Paul Newman was not nominated for playing Mr. Bridge. And I thought in that film that it was really Newman's performance that was right at the heart and soul of that film, good as she was, but he was passed over.
I agree on that one. I think that what you're going to find if you look at the pairs, because you had the 2 women from Grifters, Annette Bening and Angelica Houston nominated, but not John Cusack, there are so few good roles for women that women have an easier time getting nominated, and so you get more frustrated when men don't make it. But the men are competing against far, by a ratio of almost 2 to 1 of major roles in movies. It's men over women. So you will see the pairs, the women make it, the guys don't.
Gene just suggested yesterday in my presence that they nominate twice as many men as women in order to redress this balance, and I'm sure that that's really going to get the backing of the feminists and all the actresses out here.
No, I'm just saying that if you wanted to get the quality all recognized, I mean, that's what it would take. Yeah. It's a sad state of affairs. It should be obviously equal, but it isn't. It's a man-run and a male-centered view of the movies that we get.
Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. How about Penny Marshall as director?
I don't think it was that special of a job of directing, actually. And so I mean, I'm not as big a fan of the picture, obviously, as Roger is, and so it didn't bother me that she wasn't nominated. And to give her a token nomination just because she's a woman, that would be silly, I think.
Well, I put the movie Awakenings on my list of the 10 best films of the year, and so I thought she deserved to be nominated. And, of course, it was nominated as one of the best pictures. So once again, you have this situation where one of the best pictures of the year was not directed by one of the best directors of the year. In other words, she somehow directed this picture, but it wasn't her.
There's never been an American in the past. Who was it?
You know,
it happens all the time.
But the reason why it happens is everybody, all the 5,000 members of the Academy, nominate for the best picture. That's the one category where the whole membership nominates. But when it comes to nominating the 5 directors, it's just the director's branch. And the director's branch may be 300 people.
And maybe 98% of them male.
Yeah, but I don't think that that had any reason. I mean, there haven't been that many women, Roger, for them to nominate.
There's never been an American woman nominated for Best Director. There must be a woman somewhere.
Well, you got to name the picture.
Be just one.
No, but you name the picture.
Now,
Gene made a good point. Name the picture, and I would name Awakenings. There haven't been that many directed by women because they're just breaking in now. But
the problem is hardly the Academy Award nominations list. The problem is far, far deeper than that, and that's giving them jobs. That's the issue. That's not the Academy Award nomination is just a tiny reflection of the problem.
the reason I brought up Penny's name is I saw the movie, and I know nothing about film. I shouldn't even be talking to you guys.
No, but even so, you agree with me.
It's just you talk about Robin, okay, and how well he shedded the image and the criticism of the past. I would think that's the director for focusing him and getting him where he belongs.
It's the director, I think, in the sense that Penny is real good at working with comedians and has a nice rapport, probably with Robin Williams. But it's also that he has grown from picture to picture. I didn't think he deserved to be nominated for Dead Poets Society. I thought this was really his best work. He's like you. He's got his best work ahead of him.
We'll be right back with Gene and Roger. Roger and Gene, the two guys from Chicago. Show business. What magazine was that?
Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
Love them.
Man, how does that feel?
No different than, I mean, you know what happened? I said to my wife after the article came out, we were number 10 out of this top 100 of powerful people in Hollywood. And
we were number 9, actually.
I think we were number 10. In fact, I'll bet you dinner that we were number 10. But good. I'm going to have free dinner tonight. But that's what I said to my wife. I said, honey, we can eat dinner tonight. You know, that's about what it really means. I mean,
yeah, but it has to. You have to, like, leave your house that morning and say, pick that up. You know, I mean, just have to
No, that's what my wife said to me.
Oh, okay, okay.
The dynamic in our house. Yeah.
You had a birthday recently.
That's right.
So did you.
Yes, I had one on the 12th.
Yeah.
Thank you. When was yours?
January 26th.
January 26th.
I was 45, and my wife threw a surprise birthday party for me.
Oh, that's great. Now, what did you give him?
I gave him everything I had in my pocket at the poker game that was held at his surprise birthday party.
Oh, lint, in other words.
No, you don't usually exchange presents very frequely. In fact,
yeah, but you know, I think
if at all,
you're down on in the list because we invited you over for dinner.
That's right, and I've invited you to dinner 3 times. You claim you're allergic to the cat.
It's true. Get rid of the cat.
No,
Who's been more valuable to you in your life, your cat or me?
Yeah, what day are you talking about? Because frequently the cat is always there.
Payday.
The cat is waiting.
Payday.
The cat is
How's
friendly.
that?
The cat is loyal. The cat agrees with me.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Well, you're much bigger than the cat. You're much bigger than me, actually.
See, I enjoy interviewing you guys because you have such a great chemistry. And a lot of people don't know you beyond the critiques that you do on films. But there's seasoned journalists from Chicago, and you do interviews yourself. Who's the hardest interview you've ever had?
Oh, the hardest interview was Barbara Eden. This goes way back to 1969, my first year at the Chicago Tribune. And I felt that she was not forthcoming with any honest answers. And so I was fresh out of college and studying psychology, and so I said, Miss Eden, you know, if I ask you, or if I print these questions, these answers, I said, you're going to come off kind of, you know, sappy. I said, when was the last time you were angry? This is a real, get that motivation going. And she says, well, I remember a shoe salesman tried to get me into a 7AA, something like that. She says, and I'm not a 7AA. And I just folded up my notepad. That was an interview I didn't print.
See, now that would have been a fabulous interview because you could have written it with your tongue.
I didn't want to kill her. I didn't want to kill her.
Well, but 21 years later, you're still retailing it on television. I mean, she's probably sitting at home. Oy vey, you know. Tribune sends me some kid straight out of college, and I'm not too interested in him. And now, 21 years later, he's lacerating me on national television. You should have just written the interview.
Who was tough for you?
I'll tell you. Somebody who was tough and then he was easy was Burt Lancaster. The first time I went to talk to him, I was very intimidated because actually, in terms of movie stars, anyone who was a movie star before you were 18 is always going to be a movie star. And then later on, they just become your contemporaries, you know. But like a Mitchum or a John Wayne or a Sidney Poitier, somebody like this, you just get awed, you know. So I walked into Lancaster, and I didn't like his movie, but I didn't want to say so. It was a movie, Castle Keep, 20 years ago. And after about 10 minutes, he felt it wasn't going right, and he said, well, we don't have anything more to say to each other, do we? And I said, I guess not, and he left.
He had just finished interviewing me. I mean, I had just finished interviewing Burt Lancaster for 3 hours. It was the greatest interview I've ever had.
Greatest, yeah.
I wore him out.
Well, didn't Bert get mad about that guy trying to get him in the 7 AA shoe? Or?
He was fabulous. In fact, he sent me a gift of film criticism of books. I said, you know, I'm going to be taking over this job.
That wasn't a gift. He was hoping you'd study it.
He was. He sent me the music criticism of George Bernard Shaw. He said, that's the best thing for a critic to read before taking the job. I was about to take the job. Same year, 1969. And he was fabulous.
I was going to say, though, years and years later, I talked to Lancaster again, and it was really a good interview. So maybe I got better in the meantime. You know.
I got to ask 2 questions, so we got to squeeze it in here. Will you ever write another script?
Maybe, but not right now while I'm doing... you see, I think there's a conflict of interest. If you're a film critic, you shouldn't have a screenplay going around to the studios.
See, I thought you would critique stuff and look at stuff and say, I need to get back into the ring.
Well, but, you know, there's just a little conflict there, because if I'm going to review your movie, then I don't want you buying a script from me, because then they could get a little shady. Yeah. So maybe someday after I retire.
It sure would be fun for you to write a script and let Gene critique it.
I did that once.
He did that once. Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Okay, we got to go. Quick prediction.
Oh, yeah. Dances with Wolves will win for Best Picture. And I'm rooting for Martin Scorsese to win as Best Director.
Yeah. Jeremy Irons for Best Actor. Angelica Houston for Best Actress.
Save this tape. Gene, Roger, Gene, 2 guys from Chicago.